Last year, on the most important shot of her young life, 20-year-old Ga-Young Kim of Korea could not find the final 9-ball pocket at the U.S. Open. That left it to Irish woman Karen Corr to pocket the final 9 and to claim one of the most prestigious titles on the WPBA Classic Tour. Now, it's a year later, and again we find Ga-Young Kim, now 21, now ranked 9th in the world, and now moving undefeated this week into the pressure cooker of another final matchup against number 2 ranked Karen Corr, who wants dearly to hold on to this title that she has come to love. There's nothing else like the final of the United States Open. From the fabulous Sandia Casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico, it's the finals of the Brunswick Billiards U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship, presented by the American Pool Players Association. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Sandia Casino, where there are obviously a lot of people very interested in what promises to be a terrific final matchup. Both of the players returning from last year, where we had a great matchup last year. I am thrilled to be with the number 9 ranked player in the world, all the way from Korea, Ga-Young Kim. Ga-Young, you were here last year. You had a chance to win it. You didn't do it last year. You came in second. You have another chance this year. How do you feel?
This is what I feel. 너무 행복하고요. 긴장도 좀 되고 열심히 하겠습니다.
What she said was, I can't wait to get another shot at number 2 ranked Karen Corr. That's what she said. Now we're going to find out what Karen has to say. She's over there with my partner, Dawn Hopkins. Dawn?
Karen, I don't know if that's what she said, but if it is, what would you say to her in your language?
Well, she's just a tremendous player, tremendous talent, and just looking forward to a great final here today.
So it is for sure. This is going to be a fun and good matchup between Ga-Young Kim and Karen Corr. Here is how Karen Corr moved into the finals against Ga-Young Kim. You see there beating Kelly Fisher and Melissa Herndon, both of whom had great weeks here in Albuquerque. And she now faces the 21-year-old Ga-Young Kim from Korea and tries to defend her title. And here you see part of what they're playing for, a terrific purse, but that beautiful Champions Trophy representing the United States Open. And in any sport, I don't care what it is, you want this title. There's Ga-Young Kim. She will stay seated for the moment. Karen Corr at the table, having won the lag, and she has the right for the first break. And it could prove to be very important. Should this match, like last year's final, go to 13 racks, it would be Karen Corr who would have that break. It's also important to try to get a good break and get some time at the table, Dawn. And watch out. Boy, that was awfully close.
It was. It sure was. Karen didn't make a ball in the break. Look at how close the 1 ball is to that scratch. Here's the 1. The cue ball, you can hit that, and look at where the 9 is, right next to the 1. This is going to be really interesting because we can start out right here with a quick game if she decides to play the carom.
Well, she is a shot maker. There is no question we're going to see some shot making from Ga-Young Kim. Plays that shot and gets rewarded, Dawn. That cue ball's hidden there. You see it behind the 6-9.
That's right. It was a good two-way shot. She played the shot. Here's the 1 now, and now here's the cue ball right behind the 6 and the 9.
Right off the bat, Karen Corr being asked to come with a shot.
Nice hit, very nice hit.
And now let's see if she gets rewarded. She was rewarded in the sense that Ga-Young Kim will not have ball in hand, but she will have an open look at the 1, Dawn.
Excellent opening shot. Very nice.
And you should keep your eyes peeled, because if she is in her rhythm, Ga-Young Kim plays quickly. Very, very confident shot maker. Pocket speed there.
Slides that ball in. There's the 3 ball. Like I said, the 4 and the 8 are tied up. So she's looking at what she wants to do play in a safety or maybe a cross corner bank. Just depends on how she wants to jump out of the gate. Now I expect here that Gayoung will just thin the 4 ball and maybe bring the cue ball down in this direction and leave the 4 right next to the 8.
These shots early in this match are so critical. You can set up so much. What you force the other player into doing, what kind of shots you make them hit, and certainly by getting on the board early.
There she goes, just like that. The only...
Watch out.
Oh, look at how
Watch
fast
out.
that keeps rolling.
Wow. That went a long way.
It sure did. Now Karen's got quite a shot to look at here. Karen is a good safety player. She's just thinking of her options. She'd really love to get the cue ball by that 9 and 6, but I don't know that she'll be able to do that.
Can she come with kind of a two-way shot here, Dawn?
She could go for the shot, but it's just so tough.
I was going to say just try to maybe bring it back, yeah. I thought she was going to try to hide it a little bit more behind those blockers.
Well, it would be really tough to do that, Mitch. She'd have to put a lot of spin on, and where she was jacked up in the pocket, she didn't have as much control over the cue ball.
So doing what she had to do then, which was just to leave a longer, tough shot for Gayoung Kim.
Right. Now here again, she's faced with an option. Bank the 4 in, you have something on the 5, or thin the 4, come around 2 rails, put the cue ball back here. And she's opted to play the safety, probably because that 5 ball you can't really see into the pocket anyway. Now I know Gayoung wanted to get behind the 8 and the 9, but she's really good at the diamond system because she plays a lot of 3 cushion. So I know she was very disappointed about her placement of the cue ball there.
But as you can see, indeed, an open shot. Let's see
Wow.
how far this cue ball comes back.
What a great shot. You see she was jacked up, length of the table, and drew it back like it was nothing.
I was going to say that the 4 was so close to that corner pocket too, Don. It's just fraught with danger. There's so much that can happen down there.
Right now,
And as she looks, excuse me, as she looks at this shot, I want to mention some of this great playing equipment. Brunswick Billiards. She's playing on a Metro table. There you see it. Centennial balls and the big break rack, also by Brunswick, and Simonis 860 cloth. And that 9 came close also. You watch the 5 roll in.
well, speaking of close, look at where the 6 is on the cue ball. There is no shot here for her, not as to pocket the 6 ball. So Karen's going to thin the ball, and depending on the path where she can play the cue ball, it's going to be tough. It would be nice if she had an angle to be able to come up here and there with the cue ball, but I don't think she can. This is not easy for Karen. Not many choices here. Now that was a really good thought. I think Gayoung can still see the 6, but from where Karen was, I got to give her credit for that one. Gayoung can pocket this ball.
Well, I was going to ask you, you said it was a really good thought. I was wondering more about the execution of the thought than I was about the thought.
Well, I mean, first
it
you
looks
have
like
to have the thought, and it was really hard for Karen to do what she did, so to get it there. But Gayoung is going to play this in, go back and forth. It'd be good if she can stay this side of the 7, but
This is that slice in there and wanted to try to get it along the rail a little more there. I think Karen's going to have a look at it now, too. So a lot of jockeying back and forth in this opening rack of the U.S. Open Finals between Karen Corr and Gayoung Kim.
now Karen's going to come over here, and she's going to play the 7 in the side pocket.
Just flirting with it. Got the 7 on the rail, got the 9 on the rail. Goes for it. I, like Karen Corr, was absolutely sure that was going to just tumble in at the last second. I do not, for the life of me. And you see Ga-Yeon Kim looking at that and go, wow. Unbelievably close. But Ga-Yeon Kim steps up and will very happily take that. Thank you very much. She jumps out by a rack here early in these finals. Let's take another look. Off the 7. Has to make sure that cue ball doesn't follow the 9 in, but it does not. And Ga-Yeon Kim, ranked 9th in the world, has a 1-rack lead in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as she tries to take home the U.S. Open title. The Brunswick Billiards U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship is brought to you by Sandia Casino, the place to play. By the American Pool Players Association, the world's largest pool league. And by Brunswick Billiards. Since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship preferred by experts around the world. Inside the Sandia Casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico, beautiful part of the country, a fantastic venue for one of the most prestigious events on the WPBA Classic Tour, the United States Open. There is 21-year-old Ga-Yeon Kim, ranked 9th in the world, well-traveled for a 21-year-old. Believe me, born in Korea, splits her time in Taipei, Taiwan, and Rockledge, Florida, near Cocoa Beach. And she travels the world playing 9-ball. And has come so far in such a short time. And whew, was that a big breakdown?
Wow, that was really something. Did you see the cue ball
went
jumped?
A foot in the air.
Yeah. She made a couple of balls. She has a very thin cut on the 1 if she's going to try to pocket it there. And here's the cue ball, so this is extremely difficult right here. She could take and put the cue ball back over here behind the 6 if Ga-Yeon doesn't want to go for this shot. Well, if that's what Ga-Yeon was trying to do, she hit it really hard.
It's so interesting because so many times you just literally have no idea what was in the player's mind when they're shooting some of these shots. So Karen Corr, twice in the first 2 racks, has tried for the combination kill and does not get either one. Ga-Yeon Kim up by a rack already. That did move that 9 out of that corner, away from it.
Okay, here's the 1 right here. Ga-Yeon can pocket the 1 over here. What she's going to have to watch out for is that the cue ball is going to want to come this way. And you don't want to scratch or hit the 6. So she's following it up. Very smart play. Stay away from that side of the table. Play the 2 in the side now.
A lot of experience for Ga-Yeon Kim. Plays a lot on television in Taiwan. Is pretty much unafraid, has young nerves for the most part. You saw in our opening, nerves played a part in her missing at the end of last year's final. She talks openly about it, told me she does not mind losing to a great player like Karen. It's not the losing that bothered her. It was missing the 9-ball. She said that one stuck in her craw and she could not, at least I think she said stuck in her craw. She was trying to tell me. She's speaking very, very good English compared to where it was a year ago. But I really believe stuck in her craw was not in the phrase book. But I was just impressed with her reaction when I asked her how it felt after last year, how she reacted to that final couple of minutes against Karen Corr. She actually missed an 8 and a 9. And she was very, very calm about it. She said, I want to be back here. I said, it says a lot about you that you got back here this quickly. She's had a fantastic year on tour already. And this would be obviously a huge feather in Ga-Young Kim's hat. That 9 to make it 2-0. A quick couple of racks for Ga-Young Kim of Korea in her quest for the U.S. Open title. And now let's take a look at some of our other top finishers here at the U.S. Open, brought to you by the American Pool Players Association. Here you see some very familiar names: Allison Fisher, Jeanette Lee, and Gerda Hofstetter, and a fantastic week for the Viper, Melissa Little.
I've been working really hard on my game, and with the help of my new coach, Mark Haddad, together, him and I'm going to be in the top 5 pretty soon. So watch out.
Page number 2 of our other top finishers features Vivian Villarreal, Monica Webb, Jennifer Chen, and a terrific week by the Empress, Ming Ying. There is Karen Corr, finds herself down 0-2 to Ga-Young Kim, quickly in a race to 7 for the title. The defending U.S. Open champion, Karen Corr, the same final matchup as last year against Ga-Young Kim. This year, however, Ga-Young went undefeated this week. Fantastic run through this talented field of 64 of the greatest players on earth. A good solid break there by Irish woman Karen Corr.
A nice break. She made the 4 in the break and has an open shot on the 1. The table is nicely open. There's not really any trouble here. So here's the 1, pocketed here, come down with the cue ball for the 2. Everything is pretty wide open. It's just a matter of staying in line now.
And if you're Karen, that has to be a good sign for you, Don. To have a good, solid, powerful break and the ball's open.
Well, especially at this point in the match where she's down 2 to zip. She's missed a combination or 2 and, you know, really needs to do the right thing here. So now,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, but these balls in the middle here, those are going to be a little bit of a problem. And I think that the 3 probably can't go by the 8, so she may draw the cue ball up and play the 3 in the side. That's just what she's doing, and this is where the speed is going to.
Speed control, always an issue, and I think so important, because if you're off at the beginning of the match, the first few racks, if you don't seem like you found it, it just weighs on you. You can't really be comfortable playing touch shots and the field shots and moving the cue ball around, which Karen normally is so good at. We'll see if she can control that part of the game. We've seen her do it before, certainly.
She'll just pocket the 5 and pop it out a little bit for the 6, or draw it back for the 6 in the side. Well, she got a little bit in between here. Here's where I see her struggling with her position, because she really wanted to be either here or here. You don't want to be in between, because now if she plays a 6 in the side, cue ball is probably going to run into the 7, or she'll have to manipulate it around the 7. See, and when you run into balls, you can either get lucky like this, or not lucky, but, you know, it's just scary, because the 9 could have come into play, but she's okay. So she'll just come 2 rails out for the 8 ball in the other corner.
You really start realizing the incredibly international nature of the game, Don. I was just sitting here looking at Karen, thinking originally from Ballymoney in Northern Ireland, now living in Pennsylvania outside of Philadelphia. Ga-Young Kim, born in Korea, spending so much of her time over the years in Taiwan, living in Florida. It's unbelievable. You certainly have seen, as a player on tour, have seen the WPBA tour grow by leaps and bounds in terms of attracting overseas players coming here to play.
And it is really great to have those players over here, because they've lifted the quality of play up so many notches.
And have we ever seen it this week? We'll get into it a little bit. A lot of upsets on tour at the U.S. Open. Karen Corr knows she's in for it now. Certainly against Ga-Young Kim. This is to get on the board. And that is big. That's big for Karen Corr. Break and run out in rack number 3. Trails by a rack still to Ga-Young Kim. On the floor here at the Sandia Casino, the United States Open. There is no more prestigious title than the U.S. Open. Ga-Young Kim of Korea, now living in Florida, has a 3-1 rack lead over Karen Corr, originally from Northern Ireland, now living in Pennsylvania. So we know for a fact that there will be a United States resident who will be the United States Open champion. But both these players coming from distant shores to try to get this title. Karen has it. Ga-Young Kim wants it badly. And another good solid break by Karen Corr there, Dawn.
Yeah, she made 2 balls on the break. Here's the one, here's the cue ball. And a nice open rack. The only thing that I see is right here because the 9 is close by. But I don't see any problem here. Karen just needs to stay in position, which has been her problem this whole match, is her cue ball control.
And again, we talked a little bit about it. It's normally such an unbelievably strong part of Karen's game, and the only thing that we can talk about as we look from above is that she is just off it a little bit, and she is just trying to play through it, which is what you have to do in sports. I don't care what sport it is.
And she's using her pocketing ability. Again, she didn't get right on the 2, so now she's taking a long shot on the 3. She's going to spin the cue ball around out of the corner for the 4 in the side. A little bit short, but that's okay. She's got a lot of room up at the top end of the table to move the cue ball around.
And one of the things that makes it so difficult if this part of the game, if the speed control part of the game is taken away from you, Dawn, has to be that even though you can pocket the balls wonderfully, as Karen does, there's half of your game that you're missing.
Right.
You know, the ability to really put yourself in a position to make easier shots, to have easier run-outs. That whole part of the game, when it's gone, it must weigh on your mind just kind of in the back of it somewhere.
Well, plus if you're a perfectionist, like I'm sure Karen is, she's very aware of the mistakes that she's making in her position play. And it's almost like missing a shot. You know, she feels as bad if she gets out of position as she does if she misses a shot, because she's hard on herself.
Now that was a great move right there at the ball. Slamming it and getting a good angle on the 7. And a confident stroke there and good speed control there. So maybe Karen Corr is indeed working her way back. She is definitely on track in that rack with a break and run out for the 2nd consecutive time on her break, and gets it back to within a rack against Ga-Young Kim. Right now, this picture tells the story of this match. Karen Corr, as we head into rack number 8, down 2-5 to Ga-Young Kim, trying to figure out what is going on. You see this straight into the 3 down at that end of the table. Really did not have to do a whole lot with that cue ball, and Karen Corr so uncharacteristically misses that. Ga-Young Kim goes on to take rack 7 and lead 5-2 in a race to 7 for the title. It's the finals of the Brunswick Billiards U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship, presented by the American Pool Players Association. Mitch Lawrence and Dawn Hopkins. Hundreds of really rabid fans here in the Albuquerque area have come out all week to see these great players. We are down to 2, and again, a big, powerful break from the diminutive Ga-Young Kim. And those balls are spread open, and the 1 and the 3 are down by that pocket, Dawn.
This was a really good break for her. Even though the 3 is there in front of the 1, it's hanging right by the pocket, so it shouldn't be that hard of a combination. Just follow the cue ball down and come up off the rail. Hit it slightly easy. Just like that. Not really any problems. You see the 2 is right here by the side.
For those of you who may have missed last year's final matchup between these two players, in which Karen Corr won 7-6, first of all, shame on you for missing that matchup. But as we showed you earlier in this match, Ga-Young Kim let it get away. Watch out. And she wants this cue ball to stop. Right there, you see it? But
wow.
She let it get away last year, and this is her way, watching Karen Corr now, of trying to hold on and take it. She really came a little too far with this, Dawn.
Yes, she did. She came too far, and now she doesn't have a shot on the 2, a clear shot. Unless Ga-Young can masse around it a little bit, but oh, she is really disappointed in this.
Extension.
And I was going to say that the reason I brought up last year is because she was down. She let Karen get off to a 6-3 lead last year, came back to tie it up at 6-6, and then wound up losing that last rack in painful fashion. So she's very aware of getting a lead and wanting to hold it here. And this was a big, big miss for Ga-Young Kim. Now let's see where the cue ball winds up and if she gets some kind of roll.
It was close, but
wow.
I think Karen was probably holding her breath on that one. It's not easy, but look, she's got a shot. She's got an open shot, and Karen is good at these kind of things.
Nice.
Wow, that was a big break for Karen, I tell you. The look on her face now is a little bit different than it was when she was sitting in the chair, isn't it?
But a lot of the same kind of thing, a lot of distance between the cue ball and the 4 ball. It's nothing easy right now for Karen Corr. But should she get this rack back? That's the thing about this game. Things change in a hurry. As I said, Ga-Young Kim was down by 3 racks last year and got it back to even. So both players capable of putting together racks. And I know one thing, Dawn, about Karen. She's not giving in.
No.
She may be down by 3 racks, but there is no give up in Karen Corr.
That's right.
Seven was gone on the break, and here's the 8.
That's fine. Just stay up in the center of the table.
Ga-Young Kim still reliving. Just getting a hair out of line on the 2, and that is all it takes in this game. It can be a beautiful thing. It can be a cruel thing. That rack, cruel to Ga-Young Kim, very kind to Karen Corr. She moves it back to within 2 racks. Closed captioning provided by Ozone Billiards, your online source for billiard supplies. Inside the fantastic arena created here at Sandia Casino, outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, right at the foothills of the Sandia Mountains. Spectacular setting for the finals of the Brunswick Billiards U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship, and Karen Corr still very much alive. She's down by 2 racks in a race to 7. But if she can break and run out in this rack, as she has done twice before in this match, she'll be in decent shape. Cue ball gets kicked around, but again, a good break, Dawn.
2 balls went down. Here's the 1. Here's the 2. So what she's going to have to do is try to pocket the 1, and I don't know if she'd want to go here and make the cue ball come around this way. I don't believe she can pocket it here and draw it off of this rail, but maybe she can, so this is just a wait and see.
Let's see where that cue ball winds up. Wow.
Well, that worked. I don't think it was the path chosen, but it worked.
She did the first part of that job, which was to make sure she made the one.
Exactly.
And that was a tough shot, Dawn.
Very tough.
Especially when you're not feeling it. And there, this time, the 2 obeys and goes down the rail and in the pocket. The table opens up a little bit.
As you can see, the 6 is up here. So the 4, maybe she'll come around this way if there's too much angle, or she can just slow roll it in.
That was anything but a slow roll. Dawn hits the 9. Does she get out far enough? I think she does.
Now she's scratching her head because there's no way she expected to run into that 9 ball. So this is a problem right here, where the 7 is and the 8. She's going to pocket the 6. The cue ball is going to run this way, and if she can stay on this side of the rail, she might be able to pocket the 7 in the corner. But it would have been nicer to be up on this side of the table. Well, she got up there.
Not exactly the way you would have drawn it, but
oh, I know. She's just saying to herself, what is going on?
well, it has to be the most uncomfortable feeling. I know in other sports when you don't feel like you've got it, I don't care whether it's baseball or football or golf or whatever sport you're playing, when you're standing up at bat or over a golf shot or pool or anything, and you don't feel it, there's no more uncomfortable feeling of not knowing where the ball's going to wind up.
Right. It's just going to try to get through it. Like you said, just take one ball at a time and try to get through it.
Most of us don't have to do it for the U.S. Open title.
Mm-hmm.
And yes.
Oh, that was so close.
And that is big. There is nothing easy here on the 8, but that was huge. Because if that ball hangs up in the corner pocket and Ga-Yeon Kim has a way to get around from that 7 to the 8.
Mm-hmm.
As it is, Karen Kaur still alive in this rack.
She'll just draw it off the back rail. Back down for the 9. Again, playing in the center of the table.
Wow. This is great work by Karen Kaur. Can't tell you how imperative it was for her to get this run out. No matter how. And the great players find a way to do the job. And that is what Karen Kaur did in rack number 9, and she pulls to within 1. And here's a look at 2 of the great official products of the WPBA Classic Tour, Centennial Balls and the Big Break Rack, both of them by Brunswick Billiards. The Brunswick Billiards U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship presented by the American Pool Players Association. And inside, a lot of tension in the air. This is anything but what you would call routine for both players. And there's a good reason for it, I think. It's the finals of the U.S. Open. And last year, exactly a year ago, Ga-Yeon Kim and Karen Kaur duked it out. Karen Kaur got that one 7-6. Ga-Yeon Kim leads 5-4 now.
Oh, look at
and
this
again,
break.
that 1 and the 3, but this time the 1 nudges the 3 in, Dawn. She's breaking the balls really, really well, though.
I think that was the 5 that went in. But here's the 1 ball, and here's the 3, I believe. So this is her next ball right here. Now, the difficulty in this is, see where the 8 is right there? In order for Ga-Yeon to get back over on the other side of the table for the 3rd ball, she needs an angle. Oh. Okay, didn't see the 2 over there, so that changes. But it's still going to be the same thing because she's going to be shooting the 2 and that 8. That 8 is in the way to play above the 3 ball where you normally would play. So she may try to roll the cue ball behind the 3 and play it up in the corner that she's standing at. Beautifully done. Doesn't want to get straight, though, because you need that angle to get over for this 6. And I think she has just enough angle to do that. She's going to have to pop it over.
Well, that was a big break. Really, really. I'm just impressed with the power she generates in the break.
You know, she looks so cute and so sweet. Do you know what her friends call her? Her nickname?
What?
Little Devil Girl. That's her nickname.
Little Devil Girl.
Yeah, they say she's a real brat.
Okay,
she looks
there you
so
go.
sweet and innocent. She is sweet, they said, but she...
Now you're talking about when she's playing.
I don't know. Anybody who likes to wrestle can't be all that
Yeah, that's
sweet.
true. She does. Well, she absolutely likes to have a good time. She's 21 years old. She was very happy, she told me, when she turned 21 here in America because it allowed her to have some fun, as she put it. She's kind of used to doing that in Taiwan. Now spending a lot of her time in Florida and enjoying playing, living in the United States. And this 9-ball would be to be 1 rack away from by far the biggest title in her young life. Ga-Young Kim on the hill with a beautiful break and run out here in Albuquerque.
We've had an unbelievable week at the fantastic Sandia Casino, most exciting venue here in beautiful Albuquerque. As everyone here likes to say, the Sandia Casino is definitely far from ordinary.
Another sweeping look at this beautiful Brunswick Billiards Metro table. And as we move around it, the scene is set. Ga-Young Kim 1 rack away from claiming a pretty amazing first title on the WPBA Classic Tour. If she were to get this rack, the U.S. Open, Karen Corr holds it right now. She wants nothing more than to win the next 3 racks and defend it. And a good break. You saw the 2 and the 8 and the 9!
Look at that!
Go in!
Wow! I don't know if it was her body English that got it in there or what, but that was great.
Well, we'll take another couple of looks at this, and this is a fantastic break. The one thing that Karen has been doing in this match so far, Dawn, breaking the balls beautifully. Now watch that 9, catches the point and tumbles in. And in this one, keep your eyes on Karen Corr. Beautiful body balance. You see that leg going back? She knows right here it's got a chance. And there, we're going to call that the Irish breakdance right there. What a time, if ever there was one, for Karen Corr to come with that break. Whoa. All right, after Karen Corr, with just a phenomenal effort on the break and rack number 11, making the 9 on the break. According to AccuStats, that happens about once every 35 racks, and you could not pick a better time unless it was the final rack for Karen Corr. But Ga-Young Kim now, still 1 rack away at 6-5 from claiming this title. She wants to make balls and stay at the table. Let's see where the 4 winds up. It may play a part in this rack, and it ties up against the 5. Good, powerful break, and at least she'll have some say in what happens with the rest of this rack, Dawn.
Yeah, she was just looking to see if there's a combination possibility with that 4-5, and I do think that there is, so we'll see when she gets to it. But here's the 1. So that's her first problem right there, is just to pocket that 1, get back over for the 2 ball. Wow.
I think that was a little more than she wanted. She turned around and looked away. So we'll see. This is going to be interesting to me, Dawn. We saw how Ga-Young Kim reacted last year. She had a chance to win the U.S. Open title, didn't quite pull it off, came very close. Now her work is, it's a year later, she's a year older, the shots are still going to be there, and they're still not going to be easy. How is she going to deal with the pressure of knowing if she gets through this rack, this title is hers?
I remember last year when she was in this spot, she was patting her chest, taking lots of breaths, shaking her hands, and she hasn't done that in this set. She doesn't seem as nervous. So here we go with the combination. Let's see if it goes.
She broke and ran out in rack 10 for the first time in this match, and here is a key shot. Let's see where the 4 winds up. That is not where she wanted it. She's looking at it, and I think she just realized that she cannot see it. And that is a little bit of a look of, I don't know what, a little bit of panic. She's getting up there pretty quickly. Yep, she said, "Oh, mama." And I don't care what language you're speaking, that is not good. Extension. Takes her extension.
Oh, boy. Just a quarter of an inch to the left, and she may have had the championship. Now she's in a position to make a decision. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, I'm not sure if I can get by, but I think I can.
And hit the 9 first, and that is even worse. That is even worse.
Oh, boy.
All right, so Karen Corr with a break and run out in the last rack stays alive at 5-6, and now with ball in hand in rack 12 can tie this match up, Dawn.
You know, if anything, what Guy Young needed to do was to make a clean hit on that 4. Even
Absolutely
if she couldn't
right.
make it, you know, if you're not sure if you're going to be able to hit it, don't go for it. And she was leaning over the table with her foot up. Just not a good thing.
So seemingly composed and collected until that moment. Actually, the shot that brought her to that moment was the first time she kind of bobbled on it and then tried to do something a little too spectacular. And Karen Corr with that 7 laying beautifully to get down for the 9 in the corner. And that would tie this match up.
This has to be a nightmare for Guy Young, because you know what she's thinking about now? Since she lost the lag, which is extremely important in a hill-to-hill match, a 6-6 match, Karen has the break. And you saw what happened in the last break. This thing right now is slipping away from Guy Young.
Well, I said it early. You know, we didn't pay enough attention to the lag. But almost kidding around, we said early in this match when it happened that Karen would have the break in rack 13 if it came to that. Well, here we are. It's come to that for the 2nd year in a row. Both players on the hill. One of them will win the title. The Brunswick Billiards U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship is brought to you by Simonis Cloth. Since 1680, the cloth of champions. By Sandia Casino, the place to play. And by Brunswick Billiards. Since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship preferred by experts around the world. As we look at the resting rack of 9 centennial balls here on the table, they will soon be broken. They will be broken by the defending champion, Karen Corr, who walks over, and again in a display of great sportswomanship, shakes the hand of Guy Young Kim. This is it. Again, the 2nd year in a row, this rack will decide it. Unbelievable how this has turned and come about. Karen Corr down by 2 racks at 4-6, and now has a chance to break, run out, and maybe win it. The 9 stays right where it was.
Almost scratched. Well, I don't think Guy Young's going to see Karen run out in this spot, because here's the 1, here's the 3, blocking the path of the 1 to go in there. So Guy Young is probably going to get back at the table in this rack. I do believe she's looking at trying to get the cue ball back behind the balls.
And a very interesting play. For the first time in this match, Karen Corr pushing out. Now, how do you feel about this, Dawn? In a way, I think it's good because Guy Young Kim's nerves are clearly on the line here. But in another way,
you know what?
You're giving a great shot maker a chance at the table.
Exactly, Mitch. You said it right on the money. There's no scratch possibility. If she slices the 1 into the side pocket, I think Karen might have given the... I don't know. I don't like this at all. Guy Young is a great shot maker. So if Guy Young can can cut that ball in. The cue ball's going to travel down here. The 2's over here. You see that?
I mean, just slams it.
Something unlucky would have to happen to her. And look at now, Karen just gave away the title by doing that push if Guy Young runs out here.
Wow. Wow. All right, now all of us take a deep breath because this is going to be the true test of Guy Young Kim's nerves. And we're going to go for this ride with her. Because last year she had a very similar chance. Got to the 8 ball, a little out of line. She missed the 8, Karen missed the 8, then she missed on the 9, and Karen made the 9, and that was the title.
Actually, she miscued, you remember? She miscued on the 8, and I'm sure that she's not going to do that again here. Because that really stuck in her mind.
Well, but I'm telling you, see, this is what I mean.
Okay.
Are you mentally tough enough to forget about it? How many times has she run an open rack? Undefeated this week at this tournament. Here's a key shot right here, Dawn.
Yes, it is. Key shot that she made.
Slides it by the 6.
Well,
and she wants it off the rail a little bit.
God, she, you know, I'm like, I have to take breaths. Because
I told you, when I said we're going for the ride, I meant it. I wasn't kidding around. I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Every shot a heart pounder right now.
One tough shot down, 3 to go.
Now last year, this is exactly what Dawn was talking about. She was walking around, fluttering her hands, taking deep breaths, doing a whole lot. She wants to come back for the 7 here. Uses the rail. You have enough angle to get back up for the 9.
She is perfect. She has a fine angle just to draw the cue ball down or follow it across.
Stands up, takes a little bit of time. If you don't think there is a lot of activity going on inside this young Korean body, you are mistaken. And here is the 9 that will bring her an unbelievable new life. Trust me, the U.S. Open 9-ball title on the line. I think the crowd here knows exactly how tough that was for this young woman to do after last year's final. Guy Young Kim is your U.S. Open champion.
Wonderful match.
And now it's time for our super shot of the match, brought to you by Ozone Billiards. And boy, it's kind of hard to argue with the last 9 for Guy Young Kim, but this one was just as exciting as any you will find. Down 4-6 in a race to 7 for the title. Karen Corr on the break parks the cue ball, and just lazy as can be, the 9 right in the side pocket. That indeed our super shot of the match.
Ladies and gentlemen, the runner-up in the 2004 Brunswick Billiards United States Open
And here it is, the
Championship.
presentation of one of the most coveted trophies in all of sports. Here is the 2003 U.S. Open champion Karen Corr, and an unbelievably gracious champion she has been. It's a privilege knowing this woman. You can trust me when I say that. We will obviously see her again. She has given up that title this year to this woman, and there cannot be a happier 21-year-old on the planet than Guy Young Kim, the United States Open champion.
Last WPBA Classic Tour event won by Julie Kelly. The U.S. Open won by Ga-Young Kim. There is new life on the WPBA Classic Tour. It is an unbelievably exciting time. Congratulations to both of these players. We're glad you've been with us here in Albuquerque. It's been a fantastic week. Ga-Young Kim, your champion. Dawn Hopkins with me. I'm Mitchell Lawrence. So long from Albuquerque. Accommodations provided by Baymont Inn and Suites in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Your home away from home while visiting the beautiful Land of Enchantment. We want to take this moment to thank all the members of the American Pool Players Association for their help this week in New Mexico. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.